welcome back to another edition of the Pitch Putt Puff podcast. My name is Roger, aka RGB. Appreciate everybody tuning in here today. Before we get rolling though with our guests, we're going to take a quick second and give a shout out to a couple sponsors. First, we're going to go with Trouble Off the Tee. Trouble Off the Tee has a site-wide sale right now, 50% off site-wide. He has a bunch of new hats and shirts on there. Go check out Marty over at Trouble Off the Tee, TroubleOffTheTee.com. No promo code, just go to the site-wide, 50% off. Go check it out and also check out the book. Available on Spotify and on Audible. Author is Marty Minden, narrated by Jake Adams. Go and give that a listen. Also, we got FN3P. Go check .co. Go check them out. A bunch of different merch over there. They got the hats, polos. No one likes three-putting, so go check them out. Promo code PPP for 25% off site-wide. And then you got to check out my man Jordan over at the Putter Shop. I just hooked this up with some really dope ball markers. Don't have any in front of me. They're in the golf bag to give them to all the guys, but go check him out. We got PPPP, 4 Ps, and 15 for 15% off over at the Putter Shop. And then last but not least, we got 420 Bliss here in 518. Go check them out. 740 Hoosick Road, Troy, New York, right up in the Walmart Plaza. Stop in there. Let them know the Pitch Putt Puff crew sent you when you're in there. And if you're looking for any edibles or vapes, make sure you check out Jaunty. They have the blueberry lemonade gummies. They got the banana, strawberry, apple vape cartridges, the all-in-one disposable cartridges as well. So go and check them out. But we're going to take a quick break here, and we'll get into it with our guest. And we're back here with another edition of the Pitch Putt Puff. Joining me today, my co-host, JR. What up, Jay?
Yo, what up?
Jay coming off a hot weekend shooting an 82. Usually that 82 would be the low score, but Birdie Bub. I told him I have to call him Birdie Bub now since he finally broke it.
Yeah, shot 82 and lost. I was like, damn.
Yeah, Bub shot a 79. But joining us tonight, our guest, we got Law from Golf After 5. Law, what's up, man? Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for the invite.
No, absolutely, man. Absolutely. So starting off, man, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into golf?
Yeah, so I'll be the first to admit it. I'm a COVID golfer. I did a lot of golfing in high school, college. You know, you mess around with your buddies at the driving range. You have some beers out there, fun stuff. But I think during COVID, you know, we had a lot of downtime. My now wife, she played golf growing up a little bit and not much as an adult. And so we kind of had this like coincidental moment where we were like, why don't we get back into golfing? Like, it seems like something we can do. It seems fun. She was kind of like reigniting her passion for it as well. And so right off the bat, I was like, let's get a coach. Like, let's try to get good at it. And I think within a few months of starting, we were like, we should buy some clothing apparel that kind of look like we golfers on the course. And so I think when you look at the traditional golf industry apparel that sells apparel, it's pretty antiquated in terms of like slacks, polos, and like the general stuff you'll see. Mm-hmm. And so we were like, you know, that's the stuff that we probably need to have. We pay like nicer courses, but like on a chill, like weekday, like municipal court, like I don't want to be wearing that, you know? And so I think you have the heavy hitters out there like Malbon, you have Bogey Boys, and they do really well at what they do. I think Bogey Boys, and you know, they're one of like my favorite brands out there that within the industry. But we wanted to make something of our own that we can kind of call like our little baby, something we created for our own. We can wear our own brand, something that we can just represent. And ultimately, we created the brand to kind of build community around golfers. The idea behind the name, actually.
That was my next question. Where did the name come from?
There we go. The idea behind the name was really funny. I came up with the name when we were at the gym one morning. I used to golf a lot on the weekdays with my coworkers, and we all worked in Playa Vista. And so we were next to 2 golf courses that we would love to play. But the problem is we all get off work around 5. Yep. And the earliest that we could get off, because we're all on different teams, we're spread across 4 to 5 teams, was like, can you leave around 4:30? Can you finesse your manager a little bit? But the earliest we'd get to the course is like 5:30, sometimes 6, and we would never be able to finish a course. There's like an executive 9 that we'd finish sometimes, but it'd be like pitch dark by the time we're done. Mm-hmm. And so that day at the gym, I was like, man, like I was trying to get a tee time for us. And I was like, man, that kind of sucks. Like, no matter what I do, we can only golf after 5 because like everyone's so busy. And I was like, shit, like that's kind of a cool name. Like, let's do that. And so that kind of stuck. There was like 10 or 20 other names that I played with, but this one kind of like stuck immediately. And I was like, let's just do it. I think it's something cool and fun we can work with.
And that's something that too would relate to a lot of people, because there's a lot of people who can only golf after 5.
Right. You know? That was the kind of the whole idea. Yep.
We did the same thing during COVID. We all met at like 4 and we just walked until like it couldn't see anymore.
Yeah. Yep.
Remember
Exactly.
that, man? It's so crazy.
Bro,
Like,
at the club though, dude, there's no traffic, so we could play like 18. There's no traffic.
that's right. That's when you got the membership up at the club. That literally was when I started really getting serious, because I started about a year or two before COVID hit.
Okay.
But when COVID hit, all you could do was golf. There was nothing else to do.
Just go golfing every day.
Me and my buddy Christian were literally out there, and his coworker, we're literally out there walking Freer Park, the course we play. Now, the course we play, man, it is the first 4 or 5 holes are nothing but hills. So it sucks carrying a bag up. And I had a bag with a cooler on it at the time. Like
that big Hurricanes one?
Yeah, the heavy cart bag. Like, it was brutal. It had no straps. I was just lugging it over my shoulder. It was torture. So, like, I wanted to hit good shots, so I didn't have to carry that thing too far, you know? So
right.
It made me start to get good eventually. Not as good as I'd like to be, but we're slowly getting there. Getting there. So
it's to trust the journey.
It is. Now, now I hear out there a lot that people have a tough time getting tee times. After 5 o'clock, it must be a real pain in the ass getting tee time.
You know what? I think we're pretty blessed out here. We have a lot of municipal courts and just like public courses that I think, unless you're talking about like the really popular ones, like, you know, Rancho is really popular on the west side that people like always struggle to get like a Saturday morning 8 a.m. There's options out there. You can play like random little par 3s. There's like some 9 holes, 18 holes. Like, I wouldn't say it's hard to get a tee time, but if you want like something very specific, a very specific time, and you want maybe like 2 groups or something, it can be hard.
Yeah.
But it's not too bad. I think we're pretty blessed out here in terms of like variety and options.
Nice. So, is your wife a big part of the company along with you, like with the designs and all, like you guys come up with?
Yeah, so I come from like an operations background, and so I do a lot of the business stuff. I do a lot of like the day-to-day operational whatever. And actually, what she's really good at like sourcing, procurement. She was doing a lot of the design work with us, and so the manufacturers that we work with today, she found the bulk of them. The designer that we work with, she was the one that like vetted them and brought them on board. And so she does a lot of like the back end stuff that you don't really see. And then I kind of do like the front facing stuff.
Gotcha. What about the designing? Like, you do most of the the designs and like the creation was all you?
So we have a really good partner that does our designs for us. And it's kind of like we share our vision and he kind of puts pen to paper. Our designs have taken quite a bit of time. I think I'm partially to blame because I'm very OCD about stuff and I kind of just lag through decision making. But yeah, our designer's really good about that. We kind of just we'll go back and forth a lot via like text, email, whatever it might be. He'll share new designs after every other week. And then we kind of just go through iterations of it. And so the current like Golf After 5 that you see, I think it took roughly like 3 months or so, or maybe even 4 months. A lot of iterations, a lot of different things that we wanted to kind of like fix as we go.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's a group effort in terms of like how we get designs.
It's cool too, because like when you're, say you go out to the course and you see someone rocking your hat, the design you came up with and all that, like it's a pride feeling when you see something like that too. So
it is. I agree.
Even with these guys, like I got towels, and just like when I see them cruising past me and I see the pitch putt puff towel in their bag, I'm like, hell yeah, that's the crew, that's cool.
I agree with you 100%.
It's cool.
But I think one thing that I would want to share, let me actually have a hat next to me. But like another thing that like took a really long time for us to do, because the whole kind of idea behind the brand was golfing after 5. Traditionally speaking, golfing after 5 means you have a 9 to 5. And so if you actually like look at, it's hard to see on like a stitching, but when you look at like on a design, the G actually is a 9, right?
Okay.
And so the 5 is here. And so if you cover like the, well, I can't do it there, but if you cover like the middle part, it's 9 to 5.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of the whole idea behind it too. Like it was like a hidden thing that like we worked with our designer and we're like, that's kind of a story that we can tell. It's really cool, and it kind of adds to the value and like our story behind it, why we kind of created this.
Yeah, it goes with the whole meaning of it. That's dope. That's a cool little what do they call it? Easter egg to it.
Easter egg. There you go. That is an Easter egg.
Yeah. Now, did you find it difficult, like with the product itself, like finding the right quality? I know, like I hear a lot of stories of like shipping, getting samples from overseas and like their sizes are different or the material is different, stuff like that. What was your process like with that?
I'll answer it in two parts. I think the second part of it is huge. When you work with like different countries, different ethnicities and geographical regions, people are just built differently, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so when we were looking at certain samples from Vietnam, I wear an extra large in US sizing. I was wearing a 3 or 4X in the Asia sizing.
Right.
And so it was very interesting because when I was ordering samples, I was like, this is like a medium. And then when I was talking to the factory, they're like, oh, wait, sorry, like this is Asia sizing. And so I think as you go, you kind of have to understand the differences and then find the middle ground and then adjust to that. But then when it came down to our sizing, we ended up making our own. So all of our hoodies, all of our t-shirt sizing, it's all we pick the fabric, we cut and sew it, like every measurement. Like I'm wearing like a prototype that we have right now. It's a blank that we're trying to come out with.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is to like our measurement, and then they cut and sew it. So it takes a little bit more time. More money goes into it, more research goes into it. I think a lot of people has asked us when we first launched, like, what blanks do you use? Right. Especially being on the West Coast, we're very fortunate to have a lot of blank manufacturers out here, but we don't use any blanks. I think everything we've done down to the packaging is like, it's very custom. So it took us a lot of time, a lot of sampling, but I think the shipping was okay. Shipping wasn't too bad, but it was more so making sure you're ordering the right things. When you place your first purchase order, it's a lot of money. And once you order it, you can't return it.
Right.
So just making sure you order exactly what you want, the quantity, the quality, like you said, your kind of goal to how to sell it and how to market it. A lot of things to consider.
Mm-hmm. Now, when did you officially launch the brand?
We launched, I think, February 18th, around that time, earlier this year. But we've been working on the idea for almost 2 years. Prior to launching. Yeah,
you seem like someone who's really going to think things through when you go through with something like this. You're gonna tough time making the locking decision. You remind me a lot of my little brother.
Yeah, what's funny is I have a good friend of mine that I met in college, and we still talk almost a few times every week. We've always been talking about building our own business, whether it's in like a hobby, whether it's something that makes a lot of money, whether it's like a trade skill. But the funny thing is, the one thing that both of us have, which is a detriment to just trying to start something, is we have analysis paralysis. And so we'll sit on something and we'll sit on that idea for 2 years. And then we'll be like, no, we can't do it because what if it doesn't work? Like it's just, and so I think when it came to Golf After 5, what I told myself and I told my wife was, we're going to bootstrap the business. We're going to pull money from our savings and we're going to run this thing. We're going to try to make something out of it. And then we're just going to do it. We're going to take calculated risks. But I think if we don't even try at all, then, we might as well just stop thinking about it. But yeah, I would agree with you. I do typically overthink a lot of things.
Dude, but I can correlate to what you just said, like taking the risk. Like I did the same thing just on the podcast end of things. Like honestly, like I'm a very outspoken person, like and a jokester, like amongst my friends. But you put me in a public setting, I'm a lot more laid back. Like I don't say like I'm like I don't speak in front of like big audiences and all that kind of shit. Like, for example, at work a couple weeks ago, they wanted me to stand up and do like a speaking thing. I'm like, I'm not talking in front of everybody. They're like, what do you mean you do a podcast? I'm like, I'm sitting here talking to my computer, man. Like, that's totally different. I'm having a conversation. I don't care who's watching it. I go, but I'm not standing up in front of all these people. It's just one of those
speaking
things.
is a lot different.
It's
so different.
Computer.
It's so different.
That was one of my worst classes in high school. I used to hate it.
Dude, brutal.
Oh, you're bringing back high school nightmares.
Nightmares,
PTSD,
right?
Right. Especially it's all like, bro, my school was like all dudes at that time when I was doing that. It was awful. I'm like, yeah, this is crazy.
Just waiting to get roasted the whole day.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
stumbling over words before you start. Yeah.
Yep.
But it's just like you said, though, taking the risk and the opportunities that this podcast has brought me. Like, we've had some really cool guests on, met a bunch of cool people. Some things where me and Jay are actually planning on coming out to California in the spring to play some golf out there. So, like, just something we would have never done if we didn't do this podcast thing.
Right.
So,
right. We wouldn't even know those people to go out there to golf with.
Right. Like, it's like on a lot of people I follow on Instagram. Now I have a chance to have a conversation with and get a little bit more of their background opposed to just, that's someone on Instagram kind of thing.
Yep, exactly. I agree.
And it's cool too. Like what I seen your guys' stuff and like there's so much. It's a saturated market. The clothing on Insta in the golf world, from Nike to TaylorMade to everybody else. So
That's
when
just
I
getting so expensive though. It's crazy.
right, so like when I
$80 collards and stuff. I'm
Mhm.
like, wow, this is crazy.
it's nuts. But like when I'm scrolling, I'll go and I'll always see stuff and I'll go, but I'll always go back like if something catches my eye, and that's when I reached out to you, like something I think it was your hoodie or one of your shirts you had. No, it was the T-shirt. I forget what it said, but it was something on the back of the T-shirt that caught my eye, and I was like, oh, what's this? And then I click on it and I start going to the site. So like that's the good thing about Instagram too. Even though when you're doom scrolling, you find something you like, and then it leads you to oh, what's this? But what is something that you feel like separates you guys in such a saturated clothing market in the golf world?
So the whole idea behind building it was originally kind of backstory is I grew up like with a lot of cars, like really liking cars. My friends had a lot of cool cars. I have like an old BMW in the garage. And so when you're kind of into these random hobbies, a lot of the time, like at least for me, and I think a lot of enthusiasts I can speak for, is when you're going to work, if you're on the weekend, you're wearing a shirt that might have like your wheel brand that you love, or like that brand that makes your body kit, or like whatever, right? And so I think there's a lot of these brands out there that represent you can present yourself as someone that's within this community without having to talk about it, right? And so if I see someone like in the early 2000s wearing this shirt, I'm like, yo, like, do you also have this and that and whatever? We had a lot of friends and a lot of communities that we were part of that were just different like car groups, and like whether it's like old JDM or European cars, BMWs, whatever it was, right? And so when I was kind of looking at the golf market in apparel, I was like, there's not a lot of clothes out there that kind of give me that like reminiscent feel of like the early 2000s like t-shirts, and we kind of wanted to make something like that. And so the first t-shirt out there that we launched and the first product wasn't really within that like exact product that we were building, but it was somewhere within that line of something we wanted to launch, test the market, see if we can get some customer feedback, how they like that. And then as we grow and as we scale, we want to interview customers, and we have been interviewing customers as well. Of like, what do you want to see more? Like, why do you like the brand? Why do you hate the brand? Like, we want just really constructive and just honest feedback. But that was kind of like why we built it, was basically just making more like these community t-shirts that was like, if you saw someone wearing it, you're like, oh shit, you golf. Like, hey, what's your handicap? Like, what's your go-to course? Our shirts are supposed to be conversation starters and kind of just build more community as we go. That was kind of the whole idea.
Gotcha. I mean, and you have a particular community with the golf after 5, like that's your whole like, and that's what makes it. That's what makes it all work.
A lot of people are going after work at 5 o'clock.
I mean, you're like rushing at 4:59 out that door.
Like, so our course, for example, you can't get a tee time after 4 o'clock. The
leagues usually, some of the leagues go to like 5:30 to tee off.
So
and then it's first come, first serve after that. It's first come, first serve after the leagues go off.
So after the leagues, you should see the line of people like waiting. There'll be a line of people.
Sometimes there's a nice line.
Yeah, you're hoping to get 9 holes in if you're on that back end of that line. Sometimes, like
there's no reservations, no phone, no nothing.
Nothing.
Once the leagues go, you pretty much is first come, first serve after their last group, which could be 5 to like 5:30, and they can split you though, back 9 some and then front 9 go some.
Yeah,
but there's no tee time. It's just first come, first serve. Like you can get there at 4:30 and stand there and wait and be first if you want. You're gonna wait, and then you're gonna be behind slow ass leagues with shit ass golfers.
Yep.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Are there lights on the course?
No, we don't have any night golf over here. So there's one place up here
really.
actually putting in a 9-hole night course. So I think that will be ready for next year. Eagle Crest.
That thing's gonna explode over here.
Yeah,
if they do it.
We don't have.
If they do it right.
We don't even have like a Top Golf, man. Like the nearest Top Golf to us is like 2.5 hours.
3 hours. Yeah.
We're in upstate New York in the Albany area, so like we're 2.5 hours from the city, 2.5 hours from Boston, 2.5 hours from Connecticut, like 2.5 hours from anything.
Like 3.5.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're out there.
I've been hearing that. I don't know if this is like 100% factually true. I've been hearing that Top Golf business hasn't been doing well since they expanded. I feel like it's just getting a little bit too saturated of people like going to do Top Golf, and maybe people are getting sick of it. But I don't know. I've heard that I think people want to go do the real thing more now, and so the Top Golf was like kind of like an entry level. We can go drink and have fun, but I think it's starting to become like a bowling thing. Like you only go for events, but you're never really going to pick a Saturday night going, because I think even if a couple goes, you're spending $120.
Yeah,
more,
it's not cheap.
Right? It's not cheap
for a couple hours, and that's just the golf. That's not even really including the food and everything else. Yeah, it is a great time.
Range?
It's fun though, like because Jay, I went down there for Texas for my buddies. We went down to it was the Giants Cowboys game down in Texas in 2016, and there was like I just started golf, and there was a lot of guys who didn't golf, but we were just like we had like 3 bays lined up. We had a private room, like it was awesome. We did it the right way, and we had so much fun. And then like we went back down there for another football game, and me and my buddy went, and it was like the 2 of us, and it was like still fun and shit, but it was like an hour and a half maybe, and it was like I think we spent like $225 in the hour and a half
It's a
with
lot.
food and drinks and everything else. I'm like, damn, fucking crazy.
It's crazy.
We ain't got nothing like that up here, unfortunately. Hopefully, sooner or later, we do end up with something like that. I'm hoping this night golf thing does pop off and turn into something out here, just to be different, man. Like some of these courses got to start doing different shit.
That would be cool.
For sure. So what's your plan for the brand for like the next 5-10 years? What's your game plan down the line?
I think definitely get into retail stores, do a lot more of, having a physical presence. We started as an e-commerce brand because I think it was easier to scale that way. Your overhead is a lot less. There's less things to worry about before you get into retail, like physically. So I think within the next year or so, we do want to be in stores. We have conversations with certain people already currently about having some distribution within the United States or at certain golf courses. But I think that's kind of just like a backseat conversation, until we get to a point where that's like really something that we want to grasp. I think 10-year mark is like, I know retail is dead in terms of like people wanting to shop online. And a lot of people mainly go into stores to try things on, and then you order online or, wait for sales. But I think it would be cool and just like a pipe dream to have like a physical location somewhere to just be like a little like something that just boosts your ego. Like, hey, I was able to like get like a store and like have a little small showroom and showcase some new products and whatever. I think that's like ultimately the goal. If this can retire me and retire my wife and we can live a decent life from it, I think that'd be great. I've always been a fan of like chasing passion, and I think money comes after. I think if you chase money, it's going to make your journey a lot more difficult and painful at times. And so that's why when we kind of got into this, I was like, you know what? I think we like the sport. We want to get better at it. We're very passionate about it. We both like clothes. We like retail, spending money and whatever. Like, we should give this a try. And if it works out, like, that's great. We're very grateful for that. If it doesn't work out, we'll work on something else and move on to the next idea. But yeah, I think we want to try to see how big we can get this.
Oh yeah. That's it, man. You got the right mindset for it too, man. Like, and especially like if you did get like, say, a little shop, like a brick and mortar or whatever the case may be, the area you're in alone, just foot traffic would generate so much business. Like for us up here, if we were to start some clothing thing and open up a shop, there's no foot traffic walking down the street to go. You know what I mean? It's so different. We live in 2 different worlds, bro. It's crazy.
Yeah, we're pretty lucky out here.
So I always like to wrap up the pod with 3 questions, man. 3 questions. I know you've only been playing golf for a few years, so let's find out a little bit about some courses you played. And what's your favorite club in your bag? We'll start there. Your favorite golf club in the bag?
Probably my 9-iron.
All right.
8 or 9-iron. I would say second to that is probably like my driver. But my short game with my wedges right now is just, we don't talk about that.
That's like my best right now.
That's your best right now? It's a trade-off because a few months ago I couldn't hit my driver. I would just hit it up. It would go like 300 yards up and like 10 yards out. And then now my driver is great. I could do like 220, 240 easy, like, just depending on the course we're playing, like how far we need to hit it.
Right.
I'll get it onto the fairway first shot. We're looking great. We're probably going to hit par or birdie on this. Fairway shots, like, all right, it's okay. Approach shots, okay. And then everything around the course or around the green, on the green, we just add a lot of strokes.
Yeah.
So short game right now is we don't talk about it.
I think mine's like 56 right now. It's probably like the highest. If I'm like 110, bro, and I'm in the fairway, 56 is smooth, man.
I used to love my wedges, and then I don't know what happened. Like, we're working on it though. Well, after this call, we're probably gonna hit the range, and we still got some daylight left.
That's nice. Yeah, mine. So we have our buddy Birdie Bub, who the kid we were just talking about at the beginning, who broke 80 this past weekend. He literally, like his Babe Ruth with his chip shots. He calls the shit. He's like, yo, this is going in. Like, we're playing the other day. It was his birthday. The first
hole, he gets them all the time. So
all
weird.
the time. He's got to have 20, 25 chip-ins this year. He's like that good, smooth with his short game. So I
crazy.
I pulled him aside on Sunday. I was like, yo, can you please show me how you're like getting it to stop like that?
At least like the aim angle or something.
Yeah, give me a little pointer. Like, show me what you're doing, and I'll figure it out from there. So I watched him for like a couple minutes before.
It's mad smooth, bro.
And like he literally changed my like telling me to lean a little bit more forward on my front and like put my hands in front more. Dude, Jay, today I don't think I 3-putted a hole because every putt I had was within 5 feet. I was like, dude, what just happened? Like, this is great. I had a 7 on the. I'm
long wedges, like 56, 60, like 52. I like those. If I get a wedge, I'm good, bro. I'm good to go.
Yeah,
from like 100 to like 130, I'm good.
If you tell JR the shot's 140 yards, JR is going to hit it 140. Like, he has his irons and wedges really dialed in by the distance.
It might go a little bit left or a little bit right, but the numbers I get are like usually pretty dialed in, pin high.
That's insane.
On point. It's pretty crazy. So, with being a little new to golf, this might be a tougher question, but what's your favorite course you've ever played?
Actually, I have like I'll give you 2 that I like around our area, and then I'll give you our number 1 favorite that it's like. I feel like I don't like to tell people because actually a lot of people on the West Coast don't know about this place until you know about it. Right. Is Morro Bay. Morro Bay is like, we're from LA, so it's probably like a 3-hour drive north. Okay. I think it's an hour north of Santa Barbara. I think people on the West Coast call it like the poor man's Pebble Beach, but hole number 13 is literally like, if you look at hole 13 on Morro Bay, like a Google image, it's a downhill hole. You're like kind of on the top of a hill, and the green is like on the bottom, and you're just looking at trees and the ocean behind you. That was the only hole I got a par on the last time I played there. Everything else was a bogey, so that was like a very monumental hole for me, as well as being very aesthetically pleasing. So that's definitely like our number 1 golf course that we like going to for like a mini staycation on the weekend. We'll go out there for 2 nights, golf a night, and then have a nice dinner.
Nice.
And then the other 2, I would say, around LA that we like playing is Shoal Canyon in Glendale, and then Miles Square in Fountain Valley. I think Fountain Valley one is pretty good for beginner. The Shoal Canyon one is absolutely not good for beginners. They have a lot of holes.
Someone's brought that one up before, Shoal Canyon.
That one actually goes over it'll go over like mountain cliffs. So like if the tee box is here, it'll actually go like over like a cliff onto like this little island part. And so I think when I first started golfing, I tried hitting that. I think it was hole number like 13 or 14. I lost 6 balls because I was like, I'm gonna keep trying, and all of them just went into the valley. But yeah, if you're like, once you're getting like pretty decent, it's an amazing course to play. I love that place. Nice. A lot of hills though.
Nice. Jay, what's your favorite course you ever played, Jay? I don't think I ever asked you that.
I don't think I've ever done anything like that crazy. Besides going to like Turning Stone where the PGA plays.
Yeah, Turning Stone. I think Enjoy's up there. Enjoy's a beautiful course, man.
But Conklin's got crazy holes though, where it's like driving over water, like 2 island greens.
There's some really pretty holes on that course.
But Conklin is too, and the senior tour goes there, so it's like that's pretty cool, I guess.
Yeah, I posted, if you go to the Pitch Putt Puff Instagram page, I did a little reel with the Binghamton weekend. I put some pictures up of some of the setup they have over there at Conklin. It was pretty dope. We got rained out. We go all 2.5 hours out. We get rained out the second day.
Holy cow!
I played Enjoy anyway.
Yeah, Jay ended up playing in a rain jacket and a typhoon. Then me and the other guy leave. We get in the car. We start driving 20 minutes. The sun came out. I was like, bro, I'm not stopping. We're going home.
We played like 5 holes in like bad rain. Then like 6 through 9, it was like bearable kind of rain, but it was getting cold.
That's why I left, because it was getting cold.
And then like I was like, bro, I can't keep going unless I get like more clothes and shit. And after 9, it kind of stopped like raining, but it was windy and cold. But now I had like a sweater on, and like I was pretty good. We played a 2-man scramble. We were the first ones like out on the course, so we finished in like an hour and a half ride.
Yeah, that's
holy cow.
Yeah, we're the only 2 in the whole league to fucking just 2 guys.
20 guys, 2 of them finished.
That's crazy because like when you get
they only played 9.
Like when you get wet, the cold gets like 10 times colder.
But we were actually like playing like decent too. Like
That's
he was
crazy.
hitting like good drives and shit. And I was just like, oh, 56, 52, pop, like green side on the green. Like we actually played like pretty decent for that back nine. Like maybe like
That's
a plus like
that's
2.
impressive.
Plus
That's
2
what-
maybe.
That's literally when I left. I looked over. We have our buddy Fairway Mike. He's in his
We were
70s.
beasting, son. We were
And
out there, bro.
And I look at him and I'm like, yo, Mike, you having fun? He goes, not at all. I go, me either. Get in the car. We're going home.
Let's go.
And I just drove off. So that's enough.
Bro, at 9 holes, we got coffee and shit. We were just doing dabs and shit.
I know. We should have waited. We should have
fucking-
waited. There was a group of 20 in front of us. We should have let them go first and let the storm pass through and then play.
If we went after them and waited that hour, we would have been in the rain for like a half hour at most.
At most. A late rain.
Instead
too.
of an hour and a half.
Right.
That's crazy.
But yo, me and Kirk are the only ones to fucking finish. The other two
To
guys were
finish
like,
the whole
yeah, we're
shit.
good. We finished the
Fuck
whole shit, bro. Kirk was like, yo, let's just do it. And I was like, fuck it, birthday weekend, I might as well. Like, let's just do it.
He called me talking so much shit. I can't believe you guys didn't finish. Blah blah blah. I'm like, yo, come on, man. You're 20 years younger than me.
His bones don't
Yeah,
get as
that's not
cold
fair.
as ours.
Right. So last question here for you, Laura, to wrap it up. If you had 3 people to put in your dream foursome, who would they be? Go out on the course and have a good time. I'll give
It
you
can be
mine.
anybody though. It doesn't have to be a golfer. It can be
It doesn't
like,
have to be golfer. So I'll give you an example. Here's mine. I always say Jason Williams. I'm a basketball guy. White chocolate.
Okay.
He used to play for the Kings, Sacramento Kings back in the day, doing all the fancy passes and shit with like Chris Webber and them. He's a big golfer now, and he's into the cannabis world. So Jay Will was my guy. Like every pass this guy did, I emulated it when I was playing basketball. And then Bill Murray. Bill Murray would be a guy I'd throw in a group with me. And then I've been going back and forth with this third one. I want to have a golfer in there, and I used to say Tiger, but like everybody's kind of go-to answer is Tiger.
right. Well, he's goaded, bro.
So I always say
T-Dub.
Yep.
T-Dub.
Now I'm saying Dustin Johnson. I think it'd be
Okay.
cool because when I first started golfing, I watched a lot of DJ play because I'm like tall stature like that. So I was trying to like see how he swung the club and do things like that. So I studied a lot of DJ when I first started playing. So I would say DJ, and then hopefully Paulina tags along to carry the bag.
Hey, it's fine.
Yeah.
You know what? I didn't think I would have any hard questions. This is a hard one.
Yeah.
Because I feel like,
man.
for me personally, I don't think I've ever had like celebrity dreams of like, doing stuff. I think I infatuate over people's accomplishments, but not so much like,
Right. Want to hang out with them, really?
yeah, like I don't know if I want to hang out with you or kick it, but I will say like I'll give you one for sure. Is I would for sure want to play a foursome with my my coach. We haven't golfed yet. I've known him for 2 years, but we've never gotten to that conversation of like let's golf together.
Yeah.
My wife actually found him through just researching like extensively on the internet. He was like an ex PGA like director of coaching or something, and so he like ran like this whole coaching department. And I think he really was like the perfect person for us to meet when we were new to this, because he taught us everything that we needed to learn and more to kind of really enjoy the sport and kind of love it more and more. I think his biggest thing, like when we first started, was I don't want to get you good. I want to help you enjoy the sport first so you can get out onto the course and not hate it and want to come back and do more. Right. And so he did exactly that. Like every lesson that we would take, it was almost like, I say this like jokingly, but I swear to God, it was like this. It was very Mr. Miyagi-ish. It was very like our very first lesson. He was like, do this for like an hour. And I'm like, this is weird. Right. And you would do the like next lesson. You're like, oh, I kind of understand why we did that like next time. Right. And so as you get to like 5, 10, 20, 30 lessons, when you kind of look in retrospect, you realize like every lesson that you took in the past was a stepping stone to like where you are today. And so he coaches a lot of my newer golfer friends today. And then when I'm like in a third party view now, I'm like, I remember when I was there. Like it'll all make sense in like 6 months to a year from now.
How many of your friends call you and are like, yo, this guy's got me painting the fence over here. I'm trying to swing a golf club. Like, what the hell are we doing?
3 of them just started in the last 2 months. So I think one of them has been golfing for a few years, but he needed to get kind of like tune up a little bit. Yep. One of them is completely new. But he's like, I get it now. He's like, that's why like I couldn't do this before, that before. So a lot of it is like the way that he teaches is not so much like, oh, swing on the right plane, like you want to go shallow. He doesn't really talk about any of that. Okay. But he talks about like how your wrist should be moving, like how your ankle should be moving, like your mobility, your flexibility. It's a lot of the mechanics behind it that most like golfers and coaches won't talk about. Yeah. They'll just tell you like you want to go shallow, you want to like close the club face. For your probably first 5 lessons, he'll never talk about that. It'll just be like, you're striking it, great. Like you're making contact with the ball, that's 90% of it. You're already there, right? And so as you go on, he'll kind of teach you a little bit more. But I guess like to answer your question of like the other two, I would probably just say like a lot of like, you know, influencers that I follow or like, you know, mentors that I've had in my life that kind of like help me build to where I am today, become the person that I am. I think I can attest to a lot of my kind of success or like a lot of my personality and like shit changes that I've made over the last few years to them. So that'd probably be my answer. Probably not very like what you expect, but
I mean, you could say anything. It could be anything. Like, go back as far as you want. Like, I want to golf with I want to golf with like Jesus Christ.
You can golf like
I want to go see what
it's tough though when you really do like break it down because like I obviously have a lot of time to think about it. My answer changes on that, like that last one a lot.
Yeah,
like it's always it's always Jay
on
Will.
and on and on and on.
It's always Jay Will. It's that was like literally like my favorite basketball player. Bill Murray, like just the see him like the jokes of him on the golf course, you know, the Caddyshack. Movie I've never seen. I got to admit, I've seen parts of the movie. I've never sat down and watched the whole movie. But I was a huge like Ghostbuster fan and shit as a kid, so Bill Murray was my guy. And then like the last one though, I really could rotate that amongst so many people. Like I could go old football players that I followed, or like even like rappers. Like one day I think I said Method Man one time, like just from the movie How High.
The list could just be like endless. You pick your favorite rappers, your favorite movie stars, your favorite singers.
Like, it makes you really
favorite
think,
people
like,
from like history that you liked, your own family members that might not be like.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's
pick,
funny
like,
too.
The list would be endless.
Because when I ask people the question, Law, they have the same reaction to you.
Yeah,
they don't sit back and like, oh, I gotta think about that one.
That's a really good question. I was thinking like any question that would stump me would be like maybe business related. Like no, this one stumped me 100%.
No, I try to keep it as chill as possible, man. But I when you ask for like when people do ask for the like, what are we going to talk about? I always give them the rundown like I gave you, but I never tell them about the 3 questions.
No, it's a good one.
I don't want to hit it with that surprise.
Very smart to leave them stumped.
Yeah. So, Law, man, we really appreciate your time, dude. Why don't you let the listeners know where they can find you?
golfafter5.com, golfafter5 Instagram tag. We're working on TikTok. We should be on TikTok soon. We'll have some content out there. But yeah, we're on all the socials.
We're thinking about TikTok too. It's just a lot. I don't know how I feel about TikTok quite yet. I feel like
I think you know, like there's like the
It's where you can blow up.
There's a lot of legislation and politics around there, but to your point, JR, that's the place to blow up. And I think I haven't touched it yet because it's like one of those like Pandora's box that I think once you open, you have to like go full force into it. And so I think we're working on building more content and making more content as we go. We're gonna get a content schedule out hopefully soon. And then we're like, do we want to get on TikTok? The answer is like 80% yes. It's just we just want to make sure we're mindful of how we get on there and what we start doing. Because you can blow up for good reasons and bad reasons.
Right.
And so you just want to be, you know, confident in what you're posting. And
that's a different place, man.
Yeah, you don't think about
you
that.
You can blow up there, bro. You can blow up there.
Yeah, but like he said though, Jay, you can blow up in a good way and a bad way, and a lot of people don't think about.
You're taking the risk anyway, so you might as well just fucking do it.
Throw all in.
Just fucking
do it. We're doing. Roll the dice, all in. Well, that's it for tonight's episode. Like I said, Lord, appreciate your time. Appreciate you guys jumping on. We'll definitely go check them out. Golf After 5. Jay, you got anything to close out? You playing this weekend, Jay? You're good, right?
Yeah, playing.
We'll be back on Friday with a preview of this upcoming weekend. Appreciate everybody tuning in, and we'll talk to you soon. Appreciate Law jumping on, as well as JR Law from Golf After 5. Really cool concept. It's funny he said that with the elephant, or excuse me, the elephant. What the hell do you call it? The Easter egg in there. With the Golf After 9. I never even noticed that until he pointed out the G being a 9. So that's pretty cool. A lot of cool things going on over there. Golf After 9. Appreciate him jumping on. Make sure you guys go check them out. As well as a couple of our sponsors like 420 Bliss located at 740 Hoosick Road in Troy, New York. Right up in the Walmart Plaza. Stop in there. Check them out. everything you're looking for: flower, pre-rolls, edibles, tinctures, vapes, you name it, they got it. Especially the jaunty products. They got some great products over there. They got the blueberry lemonade, the watermelon, the mango sunrise. In the edible department, also they have the vapes. They have the banana. They also have the green apple, the strawberry, all-in-one vape cartridges. So go check them out over at 420 Bliss, 420-bliss.com, and 420 Bliss over at 740 Hoosick Road. Don't forget to check out Trouble Off the Tee major sale going on over there right now. TroubleOffTheTee.com. 50% off site-wide. Site-wide 50% off special. He's got some new hats, some new shirts on there. He's got a fall line coming out as well. So go check out TroubleOffTheTee.com. Make sure you check out the book. Audible versions available on Audible. Author's Marty Minden, narrated by Jake Adams. You can check it out on Spotify and Audible. And then we got fn3p.co. Go check them out. PPP for 25% off. Great options on there for hoodies, polos, hats. He's got some really cool hats. Got the camo hat on there. I think we might get one of those with a Pitch Putt and Puff logo headed our way soon. And then go check them out over there, fn3p.co. PPP for 25% off. And then last but not least, my man Jordan over at the Putter Shop. PPPP, 4 Ps, 15 for 15% off site-wide. He just hooked us up with some really, really dope ball markers, customized with the Pitch Putt and Puff logo. Appreciate you, Jordan, over there at the Putter Shop. He's blowing it up, man. He started real small and slowly building it right up. He's at a bunch of different events. He's always got something going on, so go and check him out. He sent me a nice hat. I left it in the other room, unfortunately, but go check him out at theputtershop.com. Appreciate everybody tuning in, and we will see you on Friday with the recap show, and might have a special guest. If you guys are into the football and gambling, gonna have some picks. Gonna have some picks for you for this upcoming week, so stay tuned for that. Should be kind of interesting if he does come through with fairways locks of the week. Everybody tuning in, and we'll talk to you soon. Later.